Is the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The ranking member just said that quote, Joe Biden was opposed to corruption. Really? So opposed, he leveraged $1 billion of American tax money to fire the prosecutor in Ukraine who was investigating Zolochevsky at Burisma, the company Hunter Biden sat on the board of. Wow. And the prosecutor who replaced Shokin, that Mr. Parnas referenced in his opening statement, Mr. Lutsenko, guess what he did? He took Zolochevsky off the wanted list and dropped the charges. Wow, he's really, really opposed to corruption there. Mr. Bobolinsky, who's the big guy? Joe Biden. Are you sure about that? Because when...
Jordan, Joe Biden.
Sure? You're sure?
I'm 1,000% sure.
Because when Hunter Biden did his deposition under oath, he said, I don't know who it is, even though he was copied on an email that said H will hold 10% for the big guy. You sure it's the big guy is Joe Biden?
1,000%. And there's other text messages that back that up, that the brave whistleblowers, Shapley and Ziegler, have produced, not from my phones, not from my BlackBerry that I took screenshots from. They took them from subpoenas directly from Apple's iCloud that back up the fact that Hunter knew the big guy was Joe Biden.
The big guy is the brand. The big guy is the lift. The big guy is the one who showed up at golf outings, who took phone calls and meetings and lunches and dinners with Hunter Biden and his business associates. Is that right?
Correct.
Mr. Galanis, you referenced in your opening statement, May 4th, 2014, you were at a party at a restaurant in Brooklyn, New York. Can you tell me who else was there?
Yeah, it was a birthday party, so there were more than 100 people there, but amongst them was Devin Archer, myself, the host, Alex Kuklarski, Yelena Baturna, her husband, and then Hunter Biden joined.
Tell us, I think you referenced a phone call that took place. Tell the committee what happened with that phone call. Who was involved in that phone call?
As I testified in my opening statement, it was Yelena Baturna, her husband, myself, Hunter initiating it, Joe Biden on the speakerphone, and Devin Archer.
So there was a little pull aside where that group of people you just described were pulled aside, and Hunter Biden called his father's or called the vice president. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
And then tell me what was discussed on the call.
The discussion I testified was a relatively short discussion, but it was a discussion about Yelena and Yuri coming to town. As I testified specifically, they talked about being good to his boy, and it was ended. Well,
let me ask you this.
Mentioning that,
Mr. Galanis, let me ask you this. Did you get the impression Joe Biden was expecting the call?
Yes, to me it was clearly set up ahead of time. It was an arranged call.
So this was arranged, this was coordinated. Hunter Biden calls his father, then vice president, and I think in your deposition he said this, I'm here with our friends that I told you were coming to town. So it's our friends, and I told you this was going to happen, which suggests that it was most definitely coordinated. Is that accurate?
That's accurate, yes.
And again, can you tell the committee who Miss Baturina is again?
A Russian billionaire, wife of the former mayor of Moscow, served for near 20 years as the mayor.
She's the wealthiest woman in Russia. She'd already given money. She'd already given money to Hunter Biden and his business before this meeting in May, and then subsequent to that meeting, she committed to give more money. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
So subsequent to the coordinated call, the arranged call that Hunter Biden had with the Vice President of the United States, the wealthiest woman in Russia commits to give millions of dollars more to Hunter Biden's business. Is that all accurate, Mr. Galanis?
That is accurate, yes.
And again, this was a pull-aside done at this meeting, and you think and you know that it was coordinated. Is this what they call access to the brand, access to the Biden lift? Is that what you would describe it as, Mr. Galanis?
I don't think there's any doubt that that was the intent of the call and the objective, yes.
And it followed the motto. It followed the statement that you all agreed to, say it, forget it, write it, regret it. This wasn't put in writing. This was a phone call on a speaker that was all, there's no writing about this. It was all done that way. That was how the business operated. Is that correct, Ms. Grillanes?
Yes.
I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Chair now recognizes who's Mr. Lynch from Massachusetts for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to make an observation here. I've been on this committee, this investigating committee, for over 20 years. And as an attorney before that, I've had sufficient training and experience to say that with high confidence that when you review the entire record of evidence of these hearings going back over a year, you've actually provided more evidence to impeach Donald Trump for a third time than you have in so much as laying a glove on President Biden. We keep on hearing about the Biden family. When you hear someone say the Biden family, that translates into we have no evidence on the president, so we're going to use the Biden family to try to implicate President Biden. But by the constant bumbling and continually shifting arguments here, you've done nothing more than exonerate President Biden. We heard initially from, for months, we heard about the Hunter Biden laptop. And, you know, there were absolutely some embarrassing photos on that and some awful information about Hunter Biden's personal life. I will admit that. Then you bring in your own witnesses, your legal experts before this committee and have them testify. And what they said was amazing. They said there was no evidence to even suggest that there was support for articles of impeachment against the president. That was your legal experts, the Republican legal experts that said that. Then we have statements by Mr. Jordan saying that, that Mr. Smirnov was the most corroborating witness that the Republicans had, the strongest witness that they had. And, of course, after that, we find out through the Trump-appointed prosecutor that all of the information that Mr. Smirnov had provided was fabricated, false, and submitted by the inducement of Russian agents going after President Biden and trying to undermine our democratic system. And now we come to a point where, since that witness blew up, now we're going to prison. And we're reaching out to witnesses who have been convicted and sentenced to prison for stealing $80 million from the pensions of innocent workers. We can't get any lower at this point. That's your star witness. I want to remind people he's sitting in prison. That's why he can't be here today. He's sitting in prison for scamming workers' pensions. I mean, how low can you get? Then it's the Republicans' idea that this is the best guy they can get to testify against the president. This is the best guy they can get. A guy sitting in prison who can't even be here. Mr. Parnas, you've talked about your own direct involvement with Mr. Giuliani, and you said that your mission was to dig up dirt on President Biden. Can you talk to us about the coordination between yourself and Mr. Giuliani? Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Congressman. So basically, it was a shadow diplomacy run by Trump and Giuliani, where Giuliani was the shadow diplomacy Secretary of State. I was his right hand and basically the point person in Ukraine to not only dig up, validate, search, whatever needed to be done to try to find up some corruption against Joe or Hunter Biden to be able to present. Once I would receive whatever information I received, I would then meet with him, John Solomon, other members of the team like Pete Sessions and Derek Harvey or other people there to discuss what we found. At that point, from there, Giuliani would then go to the White House and share with the president. And that was the line of communication.
You said also in your testimony that that members of this committee, the Republican leadership, should have known before Smirnov was indicted that this information was fabricated about President Biden. Could you talk about that?
Congressman Lynch, not that they should have known, they did know. They knew exactly what was going on. They knew that the evidence was not vetted. This information was just coming in from anywhere from left, right field, and it was being pushed straight to the halls of Congress without zero verification of it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chairman, my time has expired.
tình ta mến nhau, nhiều đêm ngắm sao mà ước xin mình bền lâu, suốt đời tình khắc sâu. Nhớ thương đầy vơi mộng thấy ai mỉm cười, làn môi xinh tuyệt vời. Để rồi buồn ơi ánh trăng soi còn đó, và nghe hơi gió biết rằng mình vừa mơ. Khi yêu hôn như nở hoa say mộng tuyệt vời, nắm tương lai trong bàn tay, một câu nói thôi. Đôi khi gặp nhau muốn khơi nhưng rồi lại thôi, nói ra e ngại mặc theo gió trôi. Hôm nay nhìn xe kết hoa rồi ngược nẻo đường, gửi thư trao cho người yêu vài câu luyến thương. Hân hoan hồn như nở hoa trông chờ hồi âm, đắng cay trong lòng chỉ thấy thiếp hồng. Chiều tím không mây đường cũ bước lần về, buồn nghe say dứt tim. Nhìn xe kết hoa màu trắng ngỡ rằng mình mơ, pháo hồng nhuộm tiến đưa. Lá thu chậm rơi từng lá nghe ai tìm về, mở rộng vòng tay đón anh nhưng nào thấy sầu dâng lên tim biết bao giờ cho khô. Nắm tương lai trong bàn tay, một câu nói thôi. Đôi khi gặp nhau muốn khơi nhưng rồi lại thôi, nói ra e ngại mặc theo gió trôi. Hôm nay nhìn xe kết hoa rồi ngược nẻo đường, gửi thư trao cho người yêu vài câu luyến trông chờ hồi âm, đắng cay trong lòng chỉ thấy thiếp hồng. Chiều tím không mây đường cũ bước lần về, buồn nghe say dứt tim. Nhìn xe kết hoa màu trắng ngỡ rằng mình mơ, pháo hồng nhuộm tiến. Lá thu vòng tay đón anh nhưng nào thấy sầu dâng